Command priority. Make the plays. Be the problem.
Command Priority is now affiliated with Baron of Dice. They have a lot of great products for TCGs and for tabletop gaming, which I'm mentioning here because I made the mistake of getting into 40K. So as you can see, their baggie here, full of dice. I have their tape measure. It's really nice. But they have sponsored a couple of videos of mine for this giveaway. And we're giving away this right here. It's going to be a goblin-themed deck box and then a goblin-themed playmat. I have bought them both personally because I run Cranko, and they are both very good quality, and I've enjoyed them both. So if you want to win that, as well as this Command Priority hat and a Command Priority pin, which I will this time pull up here closer to the camera so people can actually see it. Yep, there you go. I had these made, a few of them, in fact. But I'm going to add these to the giveaway, and then I'm adding one more thing to the giveaway, which is a budget build of Sauron the Dark Lord in honor of our upcoming Battle of Five Armies for the Hobbit that I'm planning on doing. So if you want to win this deck box, this playmat, and of course the Command Priority hat and pin, then you need to get that balance back on there. So in the description of this video, there will be a link that you can click. It's for a brief little survey. It's going to have you enter your email address so I can email the person who wins directly with a couple questions about the channel of stuff that you're, wanting to see more of and things like that. So you have to be a member of the channel to enter to win. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel, go and subscribe, then go and do the survey. And yeah, you'll be entered to win now a fully built commander deck, a playmat, a deck box, a hat, and a pin. These are going to be the cards that I think are going to go great in decks that I either play or play against, and that are all, of course, played by many people. So you probably have some of these or decks that are very similar that these would also be great in. So getting right into it. We have the Thanos Copter, a 6-mana legendary artifact vehicle. It's a 5/5 with flying and haste. When the Thanos Copter enters, vehicles you control become artifact creatures until end of turn. Whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and it has Crew 2. As soon as I saw this, I was like, that's a Shortcut card. It can't not be a Shortcut card because Shortcut is a great commander, but the one sure way of trying to cut his legs out from under him a little bit is getting rid of his pilots. So with this, you turn everything into an artifact creature anyway and can swing with it. So the obvious include here is in Shortcut Genesis Engine, and that's where I'm going to be putting it. And right now you can get the Thanos Copter for only $1.50. Moving on, we have Swordsman's Steel, a 4-mana artifact equipment. When this equipment enters, draw a card for each equipment you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 for each equipment you control, and it has an equip cost of 3. So it's obviously an equipment, so any equipment deck would love this. So I've included a couple here. It's $26.31 right now on TCG Player, and if I'm going to grab one, which I probably am, it's going to go in Cloud X Soldier. But of course, a flavor include, to keep it in the Marvel, would be Captain America First Avenger. Moving on, we have Hex Magic, 2 and a red for a sorcery speed spell to exile all cards from your hand, then draw that many cards. Until the end of your next turn, you may play cards exiled this way. So the end of your next turn. So it's 30 cents, but any commander that plays stuff from exile, which Faldorn, Dreadwolf Herald, a buddy of mine plays Prosper Tomebound and Firelord Zuko, so this would go great in both of those. So any mono red deck I think could be really good with this, just because mono red doesn't draw cards that well except for the having to pitch them. So being able to get access to a bunch of cards really quick could be really good, but in any of these, it's a great include. Then we have Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor, 3 and a red for a legendary artifact equipment. There's a lot of equipment in Marvel, obviously. When Mjolnir enters, it deals 4 damage to up to 1 target creature. Then double all damage equipped creature would deal. Equip worthy 1. A creature is worthy if it's a legendary non-villain that's red and or white. And then 2 and a red, discard, it deals 2 damage to each creature. So yeah, for any equipment deck that's in red, this could be good in. So the obvious ones are the ones I showed for the last equipment, but Cloud X Soldier is probably where I would put this as far as equipment, but you could also run it in Captain America, First Avenger, of course, especially since he wielded Mjolnir in the movies. But it's $19.31 right now, and if I'm going to pick up a copy, which I probably am, it's going to be going in my Kratos and Atreus deck, just because it's not from their universe, but it's still Thor's hammer, and doubling all the damage from Kratos when I get him all buffed up would be really good as well. Next is the 10 Rings, an 8 mana colorless legendary artifact. Your maximum hand size is 10. Beginning of your end step, if you have fewer than 10 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. So the 10 Rings right now is $11.48. It could go good in both of these. I'll probably just pick up one copy and just test in both. But in Zul'Adok, it's more than 7 mana, so it's going to gain Cascade whenever I cast it. And then in Karn, it's going to give him an 8/8 for his power and toughness if it's the largest artifact I control. And then it counts for another artifact, obviously. So on my upkeep, you're going to get 1 additional mana in the Karn Legacy Reforged deck. Next, we have Royal Talon Fighter Jet, an X white for a artifact vehicle with flying. This vehicle enters with X/1/1 counters on it. When this vehicle enters or attacks, create a number of 1/1 white soldier creature tokens equal to the number of 1/1 counters on it, and it has a crew cost of 2. This is a really cool little artifact vehicle here. It's only $2.70. It would be really good in Shorikai Genesis Engine if I had some mana to throw into it, which I normally do mid-game in that deck, to make a lot of soldier tokens to use as things to crew my vehicles with. But then also in Marnius Calgar, it would be a great include. It's kind of on flavor because it looks like it could have came from the Imperium. But then also, whenever one or more tokens in the battlefield under your control, draw a card. So you would cast this and get a card draw, and then next turn when you went to combat with it, you'd make more and then get another card draw. Moving on, we have Devil Dinosaur for 2 and 2 green. It's a legendary creature dinosaur with trample. Other dinosaurs you control get +1/+1 and have hexproof. So I think that this is the obvious place for this, but my Pantlaza deck would love this. It's $36.95 right now, so I may hang on for a minute, but it is very tempting. But of course, this could be really good in Gishath as well, or maybe in a Atlapalani deck as well, or just any commander that runs a bunch of dinosaurs. So Loki's Scepter, 2 and a red for a legendary artifact. When Loki's Scepter enters, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. Until end of turn, it becomes a villain in addition to its other types and gains haste. And then it, of course, taps for 1 mana of any color. So any mono red deck, I think, would love this just because it's a mana rock that taps for any color. And there's not a ton of mono red mana rocks. Then the part about the villain doesn't really matter to where I was thinking of this going. But there is a guy in my LGS that runs this commander, and I think it would be great in here, which is Zidane Tantalus Thief. And right now, Loki's Scepter is sitting at $6.39. But this Zidane deck, when Zidane enters, gain control of target creature an opponent controls until end of turn. Untap it. It gains lifelink and haste until end of turn. Whenever an opponent gains control of a permanent from you, you create a treasure token. So it's a mana rock, but it's another way of triggering Zidane after they get their creature back at the end of my turn. But the thought that came to mind immediately was it'd be really funny to steal somebody's Ancient Copper Dragon or Old Knobbone and hit them with it and make a bunch of treasures. So there's always that. Next, we have Ultron Artificial Malevolence. There we go. 3 mana for a legendary artifact creature, robot villain. Whenever another non-token artifact you control enters, you may pay 2. If you do, create a token that's a copy of it. If the token isn't a creature, it becomes a 2/2 robot villain creature token in addition to its other types. So where I was thinking of this for is my Karn Legacy Reforged deck, because it has a ton of artifacts and I make a ton of mana. So I could make a bunch of copies of a bunch of artifacts and then on my upkeep make an absurd amount of mana if you don't deal with that problem. But right now you can grab him for $10.19, and I am absolutely going to be grabbing one of those for Karn Legacy Reforged. And last, we have the Mind Stone. 1 and a white for a legendary artifact Infinity Stone. It's indestructible, taps for a white, and has 5 and a white to tap it and harness the Mind Stone. Once it's harnessed, at the beginning of your end step, exile up to one other target non-land permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Now, where I was thinking of this for was Giada, because mono white always seems to struggle with mana. And then I have a Heibai deck that would love this because it would just be an extra Heibai trigger every single turn, every single one of my end steps, and get another shrine. But $69.72 is what I found on TCG Player right now for the base version. So that's it for this video. Check out my Mox Field at Command Priority. And if you're going to pick up any of these cards today, use my TCG Player affiliate link. It's going to be in the description and in the comments of this video. It helps the channel a lot and doesn't cost you anything, and I really appreciate it. Now, for the stuff I was talking about before, I was going to finish at the end of the video. So, I'm attempting to do a Battle of 5 Armies for the channel when The Hobbit comes out. I kind of skipped Marvel. Not any offense to Marvel. I think Marvel's cool. If your thing is Marvel, I hope you had a great time with your pre-release and are collecting the shit out of all these cards. I hope you're loving it. But the Hobbit is where that's gonna be my turn. Okay, so. I'm planning to do a Battle of 5 Armies. My LGS has agreed to sponsoring the event loosely and letting us use the space after hours and providing some prize support and stuff like that, which is really awesome of them to do. It is, in case you're wondering, it's Hobbytown. They've been a great LGS here in Kentucky, and yeah, I really appreciate their support in this, and I hope to do more things with them in the future. But so I'm going to attempt to do a Battle of 5 Armies. So when The Hobbit comes out, I'm going to have 5 decks built, and we're going to record a 5-person game, which is in line with the last movie. Depending on what comes out in the set, I'm even going to try and have them all be on theme, where you'll have the dwarves and you're going to have the humans and the elves and another dwarf army that comes, to help save Thorin, and it's going to be very on theme as much as I can, depending on what is released in the set. But regardless, it's going to be a Battle of 5 Armies, a 5-person commander game, and I'm going to be setting it up and recording it. It's the first time I've ever recorded such a thing for the channel. I've bought all the equipment that I could afford to buy with the best cameras I can afford and everything. So I hope that it is good enough for the channel and that everyone enjoys it. But if that sounds like something that is of interest to you, please, if you're not, subscribe to the channel, and just, it would just provide a little bit more motivation for me to do all of that, because it's going to be a ton of work and take up a ton of time, and hopefully my wife doesn't kill me. And yeah, we recently passed over 1,000 subscribers, which is a huge accomplishment to me. And I thank every one of you all who is a subscriber to the channel for supporting me in this. And I hope that if you're watching this and you are not a subscriber, that you subscribe, because it would help me out a lot. So till next time.